professional tease, producer Dave. You want to be part of the madness that we call a Friday show? Give us a call, shoot us a text on the adventknows.com talk and text line. 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where, of course, you can watch the show streaming live via the Dan O'Cam, at Dan O'Donnell Show there, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. And you can watch the show on YouTube, Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. Now, I just timed myself in reading that because this past week, it is sort of remarkable when you are a very famous, successful, and powerful talk show host like Mark Belling. But in the absence of being able to reach him, people complain to me. Do you realize I got 2 different complaints this week? One on Facebook, one via the adventknows.com text line. That it takes me too long to say the phone numbers and talk about where you can find me on social media. That it takes me 3 minutes to read all of that. Now, I know people perceive time differently. As you get older, for example, the days, the years, they get shorter. In fact, it's my son's 17th birthday today, and I still can't believe that. Yeah, happy birthday to Nick. Turned 17 at exactly 4:39 this morning. And when he was younger, I'm sure, it seemed like forever between birthdays. Once you get to my age, 43, it seems like you're having a birthday every 3 or 4 months. It really is kind of ridiculous how quickly the days go by. But in any event, I timed myself. That took about 43 seconds to read everything. Don't worry, folks. We have still got about 79 more minutes of content to get to. And we do, in fact, begin with another exclusive story via law enforcement sources. A Milwaukee police officer escaped serious injury or death as he was chasing 3 teenage carjacking suspects at about 7 o'clock last night near 23rd and Capitol. Police officers got a report of an armed carjacking somewhere else in the city. I'm not exactly sure where. Initiated a pursuit. Eventually, as what usually happens, the suspect, the vehicle, which I'm told was either a Kia or a Hyundai. I'm not sure which. Yeah, I know. I can knock producer Dave over with a feather that it might have been another Kia stolen in Milwaukee. When the city of Milwaukee's solution to car thefts is to tell Kia owners, don't even bother bringing your Kia into Milwaukee if you come in from out of town, you know we've got a serious problem here. So it was a stolen Kia or a stolen Hyundai. I'm not exactly sure which. There was a pursuit, and then what usually happens is the suspects either crash the car is disabled via a pit maneuver or something, or they just pull over randomly and try to escape. Well, one of the suspects, a 16-year-old boy, was running away from one of the officers who was chasing him on foot, and at some point turned around with a handgun and started firing at the officer. Now, he was running away at the time, so his aim was off. The officer wasn't injured, and all 3 suspects were taken into custody. The other suspects, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, all 3 were arrested. All 3 have multiple prior arrests or convictions for, guess what? Car theft. Tale as old as time in the city of Milwaukee. Now, this shooting comes exactly 1 week after 3 Milwaukee police officers, technically 2 officers and a sergeant with the Special Investigations Division, were shot and injured with graze wounds to their hands as they were trying to take in a very violent suspect on a bench warrant in an outstanding sexual assault and battery case, domestic violence. They got a tip where the suspect was, and they went to arrest him at about, I think, 11 o'clock last Thursday morning. When they finally caught up with him in an apartment near 91st and Custer, he wasn't going down without a fight. He opened fire, thank heavens. One of my law enforcement sources said the officers were able to use ballistic shields, which saved their lives, according to one source. The officers obviously were holding the ballistic shields, and their hands were exposed, and they suffered graze wounds to the hands. 3 officers shot. Now, I know I need to explain this to the political left, but when you suffer a graze wound, say to the hand or, I don't know, to the ear, it is still a shooting. You are still the victim of a gunshot. Graze wounds tend to heal very quickly. They graze you. I have never been shot. I have never been grazed by a bullet, but I am told by people who have that it's a searing pain. There's usually some blood, like say to the ear, where we all learned on July 13th, or at least at the Republican National Convention a couple of days later when President Trump talked about it for the first time, that the ear bleeds like a son of a gun because of all the blood vessels therein. I would have never guessed. But this also came on the same day that a 13-year-old boy was shot and injured in Milwaukee. It also comes a little more than 24 hours after a vicious mob beating that left 3 elderly men injured. All of these involved teenage suspects in the case of the 13-year-old who was shooting. And what do you know? As soon as I went on the air and started talking about this, the Milwaukee Police Department just confirmed exactly what I reported. Press release that just came out about 5 minutes ago. I wonder if they had this ready to go and they were just waiting, because I actually did break this on social media about an hour ago or so. Here's the release on that attempted homicide of a Milwaukee police officer. Milwaukee police are investigating an attempted homicide, shots fired at officers incident that occurred on Thursday, September 12, 2024 at approximately 6:59 p.m. on the 3500 block of North 23rd Street. Officers observed a stolen vehicle that was carjacked on Thursday, September 12th on the 1000 block of West Keefe Avenue. As officers approached the vehicle, it fled at a high rate of speed and a pursuit ensued. The pursuit ended on the 2300 block of West Finn Place when the vehicle stopped and 3 occupants fled on foot. The 17-year-old male driver was taken into custody. The passengers, a 16-year-old male and an 18-year-old, were taken into custody after a brief foot pursuit. During the foot pursuit, the 16-year-old male discharged a firearm toward officers. No officers were struck and no officers returned fire. Charges will be reviewed by the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office, the City of Milwaukee, blah, 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 blah. That's just the standard disclaimer. So, seems as though the Milwaukee Police Department, avid listeners of the Dan O'Donnell Show, always remember you typically will hear this stuff first. But this happened a little more than 24 hours after this vicious mob beating that, again, we had the exclusive story on. Video that was circulating around social media showed who we now know to be a 67-year-old man being just stomped in the head by a group of Bradley Tech students. Suffice it to say that over the past couple of weeks, crime has sort of exploded in Milwaukee. But has it? This is the sort of stuff that sadly happens every single day. The only difference is that the suspects in these crimes are getting younger and younger and younger. We can now report that the 3 teenagers who are in custody are talking to police, at least at some level. And police officers have spent the past couple of days reviewing the security footage from the neighborhood. This happened off of Bradley Tech's campus in an alleyway near a McDonald's. And what I'm gathering from people who are talking about the incident, who are at the scene, there was some sort of incident involving this giant mob of teenagers. There was a fight that broke out. And one of the men who was, I'm led to believe, at the McDonald's was, and again, I'm trying to piece this together from people who were there and trying to verify comments and that sort of thing, checking with sources, of course. So it is, near as I can tell, what led up to this. There was some sort of fight or some sort of whiling out incident. There was a large group of Bradley Tech students who were just kind of acting out near this guy's vehicle. And one of the guys comes up and says, "Hey, guys, get away from my car." At that point, some of the teenagers just turned and rushed him. You can see on my social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. That, by the way, took a second and a half to read, so I apologize if it was too long for your liking. You can see his face blood. And when I say bloodied, I should issue a warning that this is really not for the squeamish. This man's face is just completely covered in blood. Fox 6. Video of the assault is sparking outrage in the community as it makes the rounds on social media, with several viewers sending Fox 6 the video. Producer Dave, do you think that Fox 6 was alerted to this incident by several viewers sending them the video, or did they see it a day before everybody else reported on it on the Dan O'Donnell Show Facebook or Twitter feed? It's remarkable, and Fox 6 is a news partner with WISN. Is it that hard, guys? I'm telling you, I'm reading from your website. I am giving you credit for some of the details that have since emerged, because I didn't go down to the scene as soon as there was a planned protest, which, again, we reported exclusively on yesterday morning. I said there is the potential for a powder keg of violence. I can also report that the victim, the one that had to go to the hospital, is Puerto Rican. Now, I would consider a Puerto Rican person to be of Hispanic or Latino descent, but I guess for the purposes of demographic classification, they are considered to be white Hispanic, which apparently is a thing. There's white Hispanic, white non-Hispanic. Nonetheless, once it became clear that this wasn't a straight black on white mob assault, as the video seemed to confirm the initial reporting that it was, then Milwaukee's Latino community planned a protest outside of Bradley Tech. I thought because of the racial component of this had the potential to be a powder keg. I floated the possibility that maybe Bradley Tech let out a little early. They, of course, did not, fortunately, and credit to the Milwaukee Police Department, huge credit to the Milwaukee Police Department for keeping the peace. There were no incidents of any violence or anything like that. It was a not mostly peaceful protest, but a very peaceful protest. More detail, but my point is, I always credit the sources. How difficult is it for the rest of the media to just say, hey, we heard about this from Dan O'Donnell? I understand that this is the game, and this actually ties into the broader point that I want to make about media coverage and how susceptible most members of the media, especially those that consider themselves to be liberals in good standing, how they succumb to this form of peer pressure that doesn't allow them to ever step out of line, and how this, more than almost anything else, helps to explain media bias. They all want to be good team members. We're going to get to a story in How Bizarre about a baseball draft pick who's down in the minor leagues, who is apparently telling opposing batters, he's a catcher, he's telling opposing batters what pitches are coming. Okay. This sort of underpins what the media thinks of. They don't want to be tipping pitches. They don't want to be seen as helping MAGA or helping Trump or helping Republicans in any way. One of the men assaulted was identified as apparently Jesus Andino Jr. I know this because his son, Jesus Andino Jr. Jesus Andino Sr. was the one who was beaten. Jr. talked to Fox 6. Unfortunately, people have to see my father like that. They were messing with his car. He asked them to move. The crowd formed around him, and things escalated from there. 53-year-old man also injured, and 63-year-old Freddie Vega were assaulted. Vega was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. His son, Felipe Martinez, says it's a lack of care, a lack of accountability, holding people accountable. If it was your situation, your father, parent, whatever the case may be, what would you do? Martinez also said situations like this happen more than they should. He said it's an issue falling on teens, parents, teachers, leaders, and law enforcement to put a stop to this. I really couldn't believe he was so bloody, Martinez said. I really couldn't believe what happened. He asks for accountability from teachers, school leaders. Teachers themselves aren't allowed to comment on things like this. Milwaukee Public Schools as an entity is. Do you know what their statement read? Fox 6 reached out to Milwaukee Public Schools and received a statement saying this did not happen on the campus nor during school hours. In other words, we're washing our hands of this one. It was all Bradley Tech students. This happened right after dismissal. You do not have a duty, you don't think? It happened right near the campus. You don't have a duty to protect the neighboring community from your students. Now, granted, I don't think a school resource officer should be wandering off following every group of kids that disperses following dismissal. Oh, wait, I forgot. There are no school resource officers anymore because Milwaukee Public Schools has been blatantly disobeying state law and refusing to hire them back. This is an issue of accountability. What did I tell you at the very beginning of this story? All three suspects who carjacked someone and then took the stolen car on a joyride that ended in the near murder of Milwaukee police officers, all three of them had prior arrests for carjacking, for car theft, for weapons violations. All three of them had been in trouble before. Did any of the three receive such punishment that would take them out of commission so that they couldn't be on the streets attempting to kill a police officer last night, or that would scare them straight, that would tell them, hey, if I continue down this path, I am going to end up in prison? Of course not. And that, of course, is a big part of the problem. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Conservative thought, not just talk.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-HITS.
Get everything for your next project at Menards. Seal your paint projects with GE Painters Pro Quick Dry Sealant Caulk. It's perfect for windows, doors, trim, and baseboards, and creates a durable, water-resistant seal. Plus, it's paint ready in as little as 30 minutes. Save big money on all GE sealants and caulk at Menards, and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Okay, well, wait, how about this one? Look, 3 bedrooms.
What's the catch?
Well, we'd have to replace the appliances.
All right.
And the style is straight out of the 80s.
Oof.
And the roof leaks.
How about a ready home from Belinsky Homes? They've got brand new homes in a wide variety of designs. We get all the benefits of new construction while skipping the building process. Look, just go to Belinsky.com to see all the ready homes available right now.
Want to make your yard the envy of the neighborhood? Tune in to Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services Designer Yard Show to learn landscaping secrets. Visit seasonalservices.com and listen on News Talk 1130 WISN, Saturdays at 1 p.m.
If you want a fiduciary guiding your financial plan that will treat your assets as if they were their own, go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
Financial strategies, a way to build your wealth.
Dr. Ryan Green, sharing a weight loss discovery.
You've heard of those weight loss injections that produce shocking results, right? If your goal is to lose weight, a group of doctors created a remarkable weight loss supplement called Lean, and it's very encouraging. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to help maintain healthy glucose levels, help burn fat by converting fat into energy, and reduce appetite so you eat less. Lean could be the weight loss answer you've been searching for.
Visit takelean.com, promo code radio. That's takelean.com, promo code radio.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Be greeted by an owner at America's largest employee-owned jewelry store.
Welcome to Kessler's.
As bizarre as this sounds, I think I can explain how American media works, how this groupthink is actually forced upon individual reporters, and where a large portion of liberal bias actually comes from. And I can do it by using a Skip Bayless soundbite. We are going to highlight Skip Bayless. I don't want to do this. I mean, I'm going to highlight what a turd Skip Bayless is, if that helps. Frankly, I kind of dig. I know people hate Skip Bayless. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago. I think this was at a big gathering we had with a group of listeners a couple of days ago. And they were saying just how much they hate Stephen A. Smith. I'm a little different in that, I grew up on professional wrestling. Weirdly enough, do you know what just popped up on my social media feed this morning? No? The clip because I thought I told you. I guess I didn't. Tastes like, how would I know it popped up on your social media feed? The clip from Rocky 3, where Rocky is fighting Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips. I have no idea why. Yeah, that was Rocky 3. It was the beginning of Rocky 3, and he's fighting Thunder Lips. And this was what actually helped. It's kind of remarkable. Rocky 3 launched 2 incredible careers. Mr. T as Clubber Lang and Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips. Yes, of course, and Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago. But the 2 breakout stars of that film were clearly Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, who became incredibly famous in the 80s because of that. So I grew up on professional wrestling, so I can appreciate a good heel. And a lot of people watch Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith to disagree with them, and they seem to really relish their roles. To some extent, I sort of relish the role of being a heel to the left, right? A lot of people, not nearly as many who listen because they like what I have to say, but we do get a decent percentage of people who will listen to me and other conservative radio hosts just to disagree, just to angry up the blood, just to hate listen, if you will. Howard Stern is a perfect example of that. Producer Dave, what was that famous quote from Private Parts? Well, what about the people who hate him? They listen for way longer than the people who love him. Why? Same reason stated. I want to hear what he has to say next. Well, what we are going to say next is something that Skip Bayless said, not about politics per se, not about the debate or any hot button political topic per se, but rather Caitlyn Clark, how a women's basketball player became the litmus test for belonging in the liberal media elite circle. That next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, and what it says about how the media covers pretty much everything else. A lesson in groupthink on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Have you ever felt like this about your auto dealer?
When I bought my SUV at Holiday Mazda, it was downright fun. And one reason was because it was so easy. Set up the test drive on Holiday's website, greeted at the door by a guest experience specialist, vehicle was ready, he showed me how it worked, great test drive, nailed down the financing, and boom, I bought the vehicle. Easy process, wonderful experience.
At Holiday Mazda, creating car buying experiences that delight and make fans of guests is what drives us. Gear up for your fall trips now during the SUV season sales event. Get more Mazda for your money, more for your trade, and score enticing offers, like rates as low as 0% on most 2024 all-wheel drive Mazda SUV models. Connect with the road, love what you drive, and where you get it.
I'm WISN's Jerry Bott, and I drive Holiday.
Find yours and drive it home today from Wisconsin's #1, Holiday Mazda Fond du Lac and HolidayMazda.com.
It's worth the trip.
I'm Matt, and I'm a former Trump voter. One of my biggest beefs with Donald Trump is that with him, anybody who doesn't agree with him is a radical, is a lunatic, is a leftist, a Marxist, a communist, somebody out to destroy America. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris because I don't want to live in a world that's all about hatred and retribution and getting even with your neighbors and getting rid of people who are different from me.
Republican Accountability PAC, Inc., paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee, ra-pac.org.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
Well, all right. But it's important to know, accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitschke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Listen to U.S. Senate candidate Eric Hovde in his own words. Hovde insulted Wisconsin seniors.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
What a jerk.
Son, I've served this country. I think I can handle a ballot.
Hovde insulted farmers.
Think of farming. Look at the old physical toil that it would take on your body. Now you're largely driving around a tractor.
A California banker criticizing Wisconsin farmers for not working hard?
This guy doesn't have a clue.
And Eric Hovde insulted people who are overweight. He said they should have to pay more for their health care.
There should be consequences to those personal choices. Fine, you want to do that? Your health care is going to cost more.
Hovde would increase health care costs for 1 out of every 3 people in Wisconsin. How insulting is that?
Eric Hovde, what is wrong with this guy?
Paid for by Tammy Baldwin for Senate.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Dr. Ryan Green, sharing a weight loss discovery.
You've heard of those weight loss injections that produce shocking results, right? If your goal is to lose weight, a group of doctors created a remarkable weight loss supplement called Lean, and it's very encouraging. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to help maintain healthy glucose levels, help burn fat by converting fat into energy, and reduce appetite so you eat less. Lean could be the weight loss answer you've been searching for.
Visit takelean.com, promo code radio. That's takelean.com, promo code radio.
You can host the best backyard barbecue. You find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like One Hit Wonders Radio. The greatest one-hit wonders of all time.
I don't mind the sun sometimes.
Ones you definitely remember.
I smell sex and candy.
And ones that'll make you say, oh yeah. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search One Hit Wonders, and listen now, commercial-free. Free never sounded so good.
Listening to that Tammy Baldwin commercial, is there anything genuine about this woman? She's pretending to have real-life Wisconsinites just speaking off the cuff about Eric Hovde. You couldn't find any who could do a better job reading off of your script, Tammy? Who does Eric Hovde think he is? Who does Eric Hovde think he is? Okay, Jimbo, one more time, but we need a little bit more emotion. That is the... Oh, yeah, real Wisconsinites. He's from California. Okay, can we do that again? I need another take. Absolute fraud. Every single thing she's done. I'll tell you what is absolutely real. That is the 2025 Dan O'Donnell Show adventure to Norway. We are flying round trip, non-stop from Chicago to Amsterdam. We're going to spend a couple of days in one of the most beautiful, historic, and famous cities in the entire world. We're going to have lunch on one of the famous canals. That is included. You get to see the famous Dutch windmills, some of the most famous artworks in the entire world, Rembrandt's, Van Gogh's at the many art museums, and from there, we board the Celebrity Eclipse, a world-class vessel with insane amenities and entertainment. We were on the Celebrity Millennium last year for our tour of Alaska. The Eclipse looks even better than that. I'm not going to make the pun. Yes, I will. It eclipses the Millennium, it seems, in every way, and the Millennium was just a tremendous ship. We're going to tour incredible ports of call, and this is not like traditional cruising, where pretty much all you see is open ocean in between islands. We are cruising Norway's famous fjords, which almost defy explanation because of how beautiful they are. Seriously, go to cruise-tour.com. You'll see gorgeous landscapes on both sides of the ship as we're cruising through a narrow, almost river-like atmosphere in the ocean through these fjords. It's a truly jaw-dropping, inspiring sight. And then we'll tour several ports of call that are quaint European villages that'll give us a taste of old world European culture, a city that dates all the way back to the 400s. Cathedrals from the Middle Ages. We'll learn about Norwegian, Nordic, Viking, Norse culture all along the way. And you'll do it with a group of like-minded listeners. I told you a couple of days ago, we all got together at my in-laws' lake house, a ton of passengers that we cruised with who have become friends, people who we've known since the Alaska cruise in 23 and went with us to Venice and Croatia this past summer. We got together. This is a group of friends, people I consider to be personal friends. That's the touch that Cruise and Tour will give. They take care of everything, sure. They provide an incredible experience, but the best part of group travel is the fact that you are touring with people who will become your friends. My in-laws have gone on a whole bunch of Cruise and Tour excursions. Jay Weber's trip to Africa about 7-8 years ago, they still get together with friends that they met on that safari. It's really an amazing sight. I get to know people and thoroughly enjoy it. In fact, I was talking to a young man by the name of Ryan, who we got to know. We were kind of joking. He was there with one of his buddies, Tim, on our trip to London, Normandy, and Paris a couple of weeks ago. And we were joking that we sort of saw him on the streets of the French city Cannes, and we were just finishing up dinner, and he was going to find some little souvenir, and we said, hey, do you want to join us? We're just going to kind of walk around the stage. We were joking that we adopted, the O'Donnell family adopted Ryan. So he hung out with us. We sort of snuck onto the grounds of an old French cathedral after hours. It was minor trespassing, but we got some great pictures. Hung out with him in Paris at the Arc de Triomphe. Do you know what? I just got a text from him. You know what he said? He said, I'm going on next year's trip and bringing my parents this time. So it's going to be a family affair. That's the sort of thing. That's what's really cool about these trips. Just the people you meet and the experiences you share along the way. Again, the website is cruise-tour.com. Just scroll down a little bit. You will find out all the information you need about Dan O'Donnell's adventure to Norway. I can tell you, I've been talking to the cruise and tour people all week. This cruise is selling very, very quickly. Make sure you reserve your seat now. You can just go to cruise-tour.com, but the quickest way to do so, I think the best way to do so, is to call. They'll answer every question you have. They will help you every step of the way. 800-383-3131. Call now, 800-383-3131. How can Caitlyn Clark's campaign for Rookie of the Year help explain pretty much everything about where the media is right now? Is there anyone in our audience who doesn't know who Caitlyn Clark is? She's a bona fide phenomenon. She has raised the level of interest in women's basketball exponentially to levels previously unseen. And her feud with Angel Reese, back in college in the national championship game a couple of years ago, sort of divided fans, I think, uncomfortably along racial lines. A whole lot of black basketball fans who were watching that title game after LSU won were rooting for Angel Reese. And let's be totally honest with you, I think that animosity that has lingered towards Caitlyn Clark, a lot of it has to do with a lot of the same stuff. I was doing some research on this. Do you realize that Larry Bird felt the exact same thing? And there were old black basketball players who were saying, yeah, we were awful to Larry Bird when he was a rookie because he was white. I think, unfortunately, you're seeing some of the same stuff. There have been viral videos of Caitlyn Clark just getting absolutely mauled, primarily by Angel Reese's pro team, the Chicago Sky. Do you realize 17% of all flagrant fouls committed in the WNBA this season? This is actually kind of staggering. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA have been committed against Caitlyn Clark. She has been the victim of 17%, nearly 1 in 5 of every hard foul that gets a flagrant foul call in the entire league this season. The media has, despite the incredible season that Caitlyn Clark is having, she is about to set the all-time WNBA record in assists. I believe she is one of the highest scoring rookies in history. She is ahead of Angel Reese in every single stat save for rebounds. Now, Reese set the all-time WNBA rebounding record, but that's the only stat that she's leading Caitlyn Clark in, including team wins. Clark has led the Indiana Fever to a 500 record after this team was like the Cleveland Browns for pretty much its entire existence. They would get 5-6 wins a year. Clark's presence on this team has dramatically improved them. Enter Skip Bayless. He is a talking head for, is he with Fox Sports now? Is he independent? I have absolutely no idea where Skip Bayless is right now. He was talking on his own podcast, and it looked like an independent thing. I'll be honest with you. I forgot to look where Skip is right now. And by the way, his old partner, Shannon Sharp, features very prominently in our weekly Silly News segment. How bizarre. I'll let you guess why. If you don't know why, you are not nearly online enough. So Skip Bayless talked about why he was reluctant, even going back to Caitlyn Clark's junior year of college or sophomore year of college, when she was setting all of these records. He said he was really hesitant to heap praise on her, praise that she very richly deserved.
So here came this white girl from Iowa, and I started watching the WNBA much more closely than I ever had, and I started to think, deep down in my psyche, wait a second, she's really good. But I'll be the first to admit, I felt guilty saying so on TV or on social media. I did not want to look like this red state white guy cheering for this red state white girl. Our country feels split enough racially already. I didn't want to pour gasoline on that fire.
That is just a staggering admission. He felt like he would be pouring gasoline on the fire of racial animosity if he dared to admit that Caitlyn Clark is playing well. There are so many levels to that, but I think the deepest one is how the news is presented to you, how information is presented to you in this country. Angel Reese, as a listener pointed out, is out for the season with a wrist injury. So she's not going to play as many games as Caitlyn Clark is, probably elevating Clark to the clear Rookie of the Year favorite. For much of the season, most of the sports media, including ESPN, was actually putting Angel Reese on top of the Rookie of the Year rankings. Why? As I said, the only statistic that she led Caitlyn Clark in, including blocked shots, which is kind of remarkable. Caitlyn Clark is a small guard. Angel Reese is a big bruising power forward / center. You would think the bigger girl would have more blocks. Nope, apparently Caitlyn Clark leading Angel Reese in blocks and blocks per game. Clark was always the obvious Rookie of the Year favorite. ESPN just came out today and admitted, yeah, she's having like one of the best seasons for a rookie in WNBA history. Why did they go so long telling you, no, Angel Reese is the clear favorite? Your own eyes, if you watch the WNBA, and I will fully admit I really have not been, save for some of the highlights that I'll see, the statistics, the wins, and the eye test should all tell an objective observer Caitlyn Clark is Rookie of the Year, but you were being told, no, it's Angel Reese. Could it be that a big part of that was members of the media feeling exactly like Skip Bayless and saying, well, I don't want to come across as a MAGA Republican. All of those racist red staters clearly like the white girl because they're racist. Now, we discount the possibility that people of all races, including LeBron James, came out and in a tweet just was like floored by Caitlyn Clark, because anybody who knows basketball, and admittedly, I'm not the expert on basketball, I follow the sport, the NBA, reasonably closely. And, I'll watch high school, college games. That's where I'm a big fan of Marquette basketball, rather obviously as a graduate. But people who actually follow the game are saying, okay, she is truly great. This is a truly great player. Not only that, she's transformative. She's like Jordan in a way that Magic and Bird weren't. I mean, Magic and Bird really elevated the NBA in the consciousness of, do you realize NBA Finals games before Magic and Bird weren't nationally televised? That still blows my mind. Well, of course, there was no cable, but you would think broadcast networks would say, hey, the NBA. No, there were years where the NBA Finals were not carried nationally. They were not. This was the 60s and 70s, Dave, but still, Magic and Bird made the game hugely popular. Their duel, and they were always very friendly. It wasn't like Clark and Reese, who rather obviously hate each other. Magic and Bird were very good friends, actually. I mean, they kind of hated each other, but they grew to just mutually respect. Now it's like they're best buddies and have been for 45 years. They grew the game. Clark is more of like a Michael Jordan figure who just transcends the game. She is so big, she is so popular. But you have members of the media who I guarantee can't possibly fathom that a red state white basketball fan simply thinks, hey, based on performance and what Clark is able to do, shooting three-pointers from mid-court, for goodness sakes, and sinking a decent percentage of them, that our love for Caitlyn Clark is based on skill and talent and not racial hatred. And that if you root for Caitlyn Clark, you must somehow be a racist. That you must somehow be one of those MAGA Republicans. There's a level of groupthink there in the media that I think helps explain almost every way in which every event is covered. You have got reporters, editors, everybody involved in newsmaking decisions does not want to step out of line of the prevailing liberal narrative, primarily because they are terrified of being professionally and personally ostracized, by their peers, and are no longer going to be considered liberals in good standing if they dare to do anything that might inadvertently advance the interests of the deplorables. We'll dive into that a little more deeply in the Unhinged Liberal of the Day next, also next hour, as well as we get into post-debate coverage.
More of the Dan O'Donnell Show is next.
Wisconsin families are getting crushed today. We're paying more for food, clothes, gas than ever. Our open border has allowed over 10 million illegal immigrants into our country the last 4 years, driving up the costs of our health care and housing. What's more, it has allowed fentanyl to pour into our communities, killing our friends and family. Biden, Harris, and Senator Baldwin's policies created all of these problems. It's time for change. I'm Eric Hovde, and that's why I'm running for the U.S. Senate. For too long, these career politicians have failed our country. They're all talk, no action. I'm not anything like these people. I'm a business guy who gets things done, and results matter. We need to lower the cost on food, close our southern border, build more affordable housing, and fix our healthcare system. I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Hovde for Wisconsin.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Design Your Yard Show. Do you live in a home with distinctive architectural charm? Maybe it's a classic Dutch colonial with a timeless gambrel roof, or a prairie-style home with sleek horizontal lines. We admire unique architecture and the beauty of its influence throughout our homes. But does your landscape reflect that same character? At Seasonal Services, we believe the beauty of your home's architecture shouldn't stop at the walls. It should flow outdoors into the landscape. Your outdoor space should embrace the architectural features you love. Since 1994, the architects at Seasonal Services have been blending personal style with architectural harmony. We design and craft outdoor environments that complement the beauty and the character of your home. If you're planning a landscaping project and want to honor your home's architectural charm, call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or visit us online at seasonalservices.com.
When it comes to auto repairs, there aren't that many pleasant surprises for us as car owners, are there? That's why I love hearing stories about the honest and talented folks at Engine and Transmission Exchange. Frank says we took one of our Sprinter vans to another repair shop that would have charged us over $4,000. ETE found there was nothing needed and charged an inspection fee, and that's it. That's our first time using ETE, he says, but they'll get all of our future business. Jay wanted a second opinion on his Subaru when another mechanic was suggesting $2,000 worth of transmission work. I was surprised when Jeff called and said they found the issue and could service same day for $146. Those are stories of dramatic savings because Vince and his crews at ETE run honest shops. That's why I and many of you have come to love Engine and Transmission Exchange. All of your work will be done by ASC certified technicians. They'll only do what needs to be done, and they'll do it right. With locations on South 27th Street in Milwaukee and West Avenue in Waukesha, check out enginetrans.com. Enginetrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make home ownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
But instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Hey, I'm Benjamin Yant for Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free plus. Pay nothing for 24 months. Schedule your estimate now. Call them 866-90-NATION or find them online, windownation.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Never thought here on the Dan O'Donnell Show we would talk about Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp on the same show, but here we are. How bizarre. Coming up after the top of the hour news. Right now, time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day, actor and last night Daily Show host John Leguizamo, who said Republicans, well, they don't want anybody but white people voting.
So basically, the only people these Republicans want voting is white people. So if you want to vote, your skin better be as pure and as white as cocaine powder.
John is aware that like 40% of Hispanics are now voting for Donald Trump. And according to recent polls, 15 to 18% of black voters are telling pollsters that they'll vote for Trump. That happens, Trump wins in a landslide. But again, the stereotype about voter suppression that doesn't exist and racism that doesn't exist is a hallmark of liberalism. John Leguizamo, your unhinged liberal of the day.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. 3 teenagers have been arrested after what police call an inhumane attack on 3 men near Milwaukee's Bradley Tech School Wednesday afternoon. Families of the men who were attacked say it started when a group of kids were near one of the men's trucks and the man asked them to move. Police say one of the men had to be taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Milwaukee police say they arrested 2 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old. They say they're looking for other teens as well. The Wisconsin Elections Commission will ask the legislature to fund a new office focused on election transparency. Administrator Megan Wolf.
We're not unique. I think election offices around the country are facing these increased demands, and so we wanted to at least bring it to the lawmakers' attention. We continue to have these demands, but we continue not to have the additional resources needed to meet these additional demands.
Commissioners voted 5-1 to request just under $2 million in the upcoming state budget. Commissioner Bob Spindell was the lone dissenting vote. Former President Trump says there won't be another debate with Vice President Kamala Harris. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said polls show that he won the debate this week against Harris, and it's a sign that she lost after she immediately called for another. The former president said Harris denied a request for a debate with Fox News and refused to do ones with NBC and CBS. Trump said Harris should focus on her job as vice president instead of wanting another debate. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, the Brewers begin a weekend series with the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight in Phoenix. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Ahlin on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. It's truck season at Lynch. It's fall and hunting season is right around the corner. So maybe it's time you upgrade your truck, and the place to do it is at Lynch. This month at Lynch, buy any new car or truck and receive a $500 accessory gift card. Plus, Lynch has financing as low as 1.9% to get you into the truck of your dreams. Whether it's the F-150, Maverick, Ranger, Silverado, Colorado, Sierra, or Ram, nobody sells for less than Lynch. With over 350 trucks in stock and top dollar for your trade, it'll be easy to find the perfect truck at one of their convenient locations. Lynch Chevrolet of Mukwonago, Lynch Ford of Mukwonago, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Mukwonago, Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha, Lynch Buick GMC in West Bend, and of course, the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington. Or search the huge Lynch selection and shop 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Another hazy, sunny day today as we hit that wildfire smoke still aloft. 84 inland, 78 lakeside with a breeze off the water throughout the day. Still hazy tonight and around 66, 84, but cooler lakeside again for tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Blindster is a family-run business that began in 2010, and we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters and received over 100,000 five-star reviews. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Hey, you smell. That's right, you still smell that urine in your house. Urine odor isn't just offensive to the nose, it's a health hazard. The other thing that stinks? Nothing works. Until now. At Steam Dry Carpet Cleaning, we save our customers thousands in carpet replacement, and if it's not all gone, you don't pay.
Call 414-479-9999. Steam Dry. PhDandClean.com. Steam Dry.
Ring in the changing of the seasons with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra when it presents When the Saints Go Marching In, September 20th through the 22nd at the Bradley Symphony Center. The MSO and its newly appointed principal pops conductor Byron Stripling will be joined on stage by Broadway star Crystal Monet Hall, organist Bobby Floyd, and drummer Jim Rupp for a musical journey through the roots of the blues with songs like Alexander's Ragtime Band, St. Louis Blues, Sweet Georgia Brown, and so many others. Visit MSO.org to reserve your best seats now or call the box office at 414-291-7605. Come and experience some of the most iconic hits to come out of New Orleans and the Jazz Age with When the Saints Go Marching In, running September 20th through the 22nd only. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605 or online at MSO.org.
Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer makes selling your home as easy as 1, 2, 3. Get a no-obligation cash offer in 24 hours, make sure it works for you, then pick your closing date. We will handle literally everything else at no expense. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com.
Hard to believe the kids are back in school already and fall is at hand. This just might be the perfect time to visit the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield to say goodbye to summer and hello to fall. Take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, turn west, and then take a right at Wolf Road. The Sawmill is just around the bend on your left.
Dr. Ryan Green, sharing a weight loss discovery.
You've heard of those weight loss injections that produce shocking results, right? If your goal is to lose weight, a group of doctors created a remarkable weight loss supplement called Lean, and it's very encouraging. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to help maintain healthy glucose levels, help burn fat by converting fat into energy, and reduce appetite so you eat less. Lean could be the weight loss answer you've been searching for.
Visit TakeLean.com, promo code radio. That's TakeLean.com, promo code radio.
We use powerful truck-mounted carpet cleaning units designed to remove even the toughest dirt, and certified cleaning technicians who understand the definition of clean.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
News Talk 1130 WISN.
Sunday, the Packers face the Colts at Lambeau.
Bang, bang, TD, Green Bay.
There you go, Rock. Packers Game Day is live at 8 a.m. on Milwaukee's home for the Packers. 97.3 The Game. Green Bay!
This hour, How Bizarre Weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. For a long time, I was thinking about getting on Instagram Live to stream the show. After what happened to Shannon Sharp this week, I'm thinking I might be holding off on that one. Dan O'Donnell Show's second hour underway right now. You want to join us? AdventNews.com talk and text line 414-799-1130. 1-800-838-9476. Email me right now, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. Shannon Sharp's old television partner, Skip Bayless, I think admitted a little more than he intended to when he talked about why he was nervous to publicly praise WNBA superstar Caitlyn Clark.
So here came this white girl from Iowa, and I started watching the WNBA much more closely than I ever had, and I started to think, deep down in my psyche, wait a second, she's really good. But I'll be the first to admit, I felt guilty saying so on TV or on social media. I did not want to look like this red state white guy cheering for this red state white girl. Our country feels split enough racially already. I didn't want to pour gasoline on that fire.
How would supporting a basketball player pour gasoline on a racial fire? Unless, of course, the narrative was already set that Caitlyn Clark was the sort of emblem of MAGA white supremacy, and that the only reason that those maggots, as left-wingers so colorfully call anybody who doesn't think like them, that the only reason that they could possibly like Caitlyn Clark or suddenly follow women's basketball because of her is because they're racist. They want to see her beat all the black girls that typically dominate the WNBA. It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with skill, drive, popularity. I think the fact that Caitlyn Clark is an attractive young lady certainly helps with that. Let's be honest with you, she's heterosexual in a sport that is and has been for a long time been dominated by lesbians. I think that goes into it. But is anybody really rooting for Caitlyn Clark because she is a straight white girl from a red state? No. That's sort of a caricature that left-wingers like Skip Bayless have created in their minds. But it also speaks to a deeper truth, that members of the media are oftentimes pressured into adopting the predominant liberal narrative because they want to be seen as a part of the crew, a part of the group. They can't be seen as buying into or helping in any way those maggots, can they? Which brings us to this week's debate. Lindsay Davis, one of the co-moderators, along with David Muir, who are getting just awful reviews, especially in conservative circles, for the overbearing way in which they fact-checked Donald Trump, but remarkably didn't once, not once, fact-check Kamala Harris. Davis talked with the LA Times yesterday. She made a similar admission to Skip Bayless. She felt the pressure of liberals and her colleagues in the media to essentially fix the debate so that Kamala didn't suffer a similar fate to Joe Biden on the CNN debate back in June. LA Times writes, Davis, wearing pink glasses while speaking to the Times over breakfast at the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia, said the decision to attempt to correct the candidates was in response to the June 27th CNN debate between Trump and President Biden, whose poor performance led to his exit from the race. People were concerned that statements were allowed to just hang and not be disputed by the candidate Biden at the time or the moderators, Davis said. Biden, rather obviously, and this is the point of a debate, if your opponent makes a false statement, you in your next statement correct the record and point out that what he said was lying. It's not the job of the moderators. Where did Davis get the idea that it was the job of the moderators? Because one of the big narratives that sort of took hold amongst Biden's supporters who didn't want to realize the obvious, that Biden's mental frailty was laid bare for all the world to see in that debate. They said, well, Donald Trump told lie after lie after lie after lie. And why didn't the CNN moderators, why didn't they fact check him in real time? Why did they allow, he got away with so many lies. That's the reason Biden lost. No, it rather obviously wasn't. But in media circles, the moderators on CNN took the blame. Jake Tapper and was it Dana Bash? Whoever the other one was. It was Tapper and Bash. Okay, there you go. Jake Tapper, Dana Bash. They felt the ire of the left and other members of the media because they were seen as helping Donald Trump. Davis admitted to the LA Times yesterday that she felt the exact same pressure, that she didn't want to suffer the exact same fate as Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. It is the exact same thing, the exact same pressure that Skip Bayless was feeling. Because there is such strictly enforced groupthink in the national press and to a large extent in the local press. Do you think it's a coincidence that not one local television station, not one newspaper, Journal Sentinel, Capital Times, State Journal, gave me credit for breaking the story of that massive brawl at Bradley Tech?
provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Here's why. Money. Warshevsky.
How bizarre, coming up in 10 to 15 minutes. I wanted to continue on this. Conservatives have a tendency to chase the far-fetched, the shiny object that seems to confirm what they had previously thought. This is a classic example of what's known as confirmation bias. Our brains actively seek out and absorb and glom onto information that confirms our previously held worldview while actively pushing away that which conflicts with us. We'd like to believe that there is, and the right, I'll be just totally frank with you, has gotten far more conspiracy-minded over the last 10 years or so than it ever has been before. In some cases, this is certainly warranted. Yes, there really is a deep state, and yes, it really has aligned itself against Donald Trump. Yes, the FBI really did make up an entire investigation about Trump colluding with the Russians to steal the 2016 presidential election. And it really did let that get going in an attempt to first defeat Trump at the ballot box and then get him impeached and removed from office. Yes, in 2020, the FBI really did all but force social media companies to suppress and punish everyday Americans who dared to share a totally real story about Hunter Biden's laptop, which was really about Joe Biden's international bribery ring, in the service of protecting Biden and trying to hurt Trump right before the election. This really did happen. But in terms of some of the things that are a little far-fetched, like Kamala was wearing these broadcasting earrings, when the simpler explanation actually does tie into the same basic premise that Lindsey Davis really was trying to help Kamala Harris. Do you know why she was wearing the pearl earrings? This is a sign of the sorority, apparently. Lindsey Davis really was in the exact same sorority at the exact same college, not at the exact same time, because she's about 13 years younger than Kamala Harris. But ABC News, on its broadcast of Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2021, highlighted the fact that both Davis and Harris attended the same school and were members of the same sorority.
Lindsey Davis, Robin Roberts is right. It's a sorority thing. I don't understand it all. So you have to explain it to everybody. Sure. You're a sorority sister of Kamala Harris.
Right. Well, pearls are a symbol of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which she pledged while she was at Howard University. And the strand of pearls is symbolic of the unity and the sisterhood. Okay. But on this day, there's actually a Facebook page of women who say wear pearls on January 20th, 2021. And hundreds of thousands of women are apparently wearing pearls in support of her.
She was wearing pearl earrings, possibly in a show of solidarity with the debate moderator, maybe as a subconscious nod to Lindsey Davis, a reminder, hey, we're both sorority sisters. You got to help a sister out. What's likelier, that was the case to remind Lindsey Davis, hey, got to do me a solid here, sorority sister, or that these were a prototype Kickstarter-funded listening device where people could feed Kamala the answers? What's more likely, that ABC actually did feed all of the debate questions in advance to Kamala Harris, something that, by the way, I am not discounting because it happened, because one of ABC News' own employees, Donna Brazile, really did do this 8 years ago? Or is it more likely that both Davis and Muir, because they are liberals, they are members of the cool kids table at lunch, and they don't want to get kicked out to be forced to sit with all the losers in MAGAville, they knew what they had to do, and they saw it as their mission, independent of any sort of deal with the Kamala Harris campaign, in order to take out Trump, in order to ensure that he wasn't able to get any sort of traction. The disingenuousness of the political left is really a sight to behold. Producer Dave, could we get those sound bites of Kamala on Dick Cheney's endorsement? Just the Kamala and the other sound bite. We don't need the theme song right now because I do want to get to How Bizarre. Coming up after the next commercial break. What truly reveals the disingenuousness of the political left in a way that almost nothing else possibly can is the way that they're touting the endorsements of the people that a generation ago, not even, they were calling the worst war criminals of all time. I saw a hilarious meme. Green Day put out an entire album about how they hate George W. Bush. It was called American Idiot. And now they're voting for the same candidate as Dick Cheney. The fact that the left is celebrating the Dick Cheney endorsement is a sight to behold for those who remember the post-9/11 Iraq War era, where Dick Cheney was the single worst political figure. He was Hitler before Trump was Hitler. Yesterday, the left also celebrated the endorsement of Alberto Gonzales, who you might remember as the Bush administration's attorney general who wrote the infamous torture memo, who provided the legal rationale for waterboarding and for other techniques that the Bush administration was using on terrorists to try to extract information about suspected terror attacks. Kamala Harris yesterday was celebrating at a rally that she was holding in North Carolina the fact that Dick Cheney endorsed her.
Over 200 people who worked for President George H.W. Bush, President George W. Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney have endorsed me for president. Former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congresswoman Liz Cheney are supporting me as well. Because, as they said, we have a duty as citizens to put country above partisanship and defend our Constitution.
Now, the media has been going hog wild. Look, Republicans, Dick Cheney and Alberto Gonzales are supporting Kamala Harris. I want to take you back to February 10th, 2009, the very first press conference Barack Obama did after being inaugurated as president just a couple of weeks earlier. For those who support Kamala Harris, a press conference is a thing where the candidate or president goes up and takes questions that are not pre-planted from the press. Kamala hasn't done one, so it's understandable that you might not know what one is, but Obama did one. This was an actual question he got from a member of the press.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, Senator Patrick Leahy announced that he wants to set up a Truth and Reconciliation Committee to investigate the misdeeds of the Bush administration. He said that before you turn the page, you have to read the page first. Do you agree with such a proposal? Are you willing to rule out right here and now any prosecution of Bush administration officials?
That's where the media was in 2009. Would you, and Patrick Leahy, we need to have a Truth and Reconciliation. In other words, we need a show trial of our political enemies for the supposed war crimes they commit. I mean, this is straight out of the Soviet playbook. Would you, Mr. President, rule out right here and now prosecutions for war crimes of Bush administration officials? Chief among them, who do you suppose? Dick Cheney and Alberto Gonzales. Obama's answer was kind of remarkable because he didn't rule out prosecuting Dick Cheney.
I haven't seen the proposal, so I don't want to express an opinion on something that I haven't seen. What I have said is that my administration is going to operate in a way that leaves no doubt that we do not torture and that we abide by the Geneva Conventions.
Okay, just let me interrupt for just 1 second. Man, I forgot how annoying Obama's halting, slow cadence really was.
Observe our traditions of rule of law and due process as we are vigorously going after terrorists that can do us harm. And I don't think those are contradictory. I think they are potentially complementary. My view is also that nobody is above the law. And if there are clear instances of wrongdoing, that people should be prosecuted just like any ordinary citizen. But that, generally speaking, I'm more interested in looking forward than I am in looking backwards.
Obama did not end up prosecuting any members of the Bush administration, but he refused to rule it out. The media was asking, look, we have clear war criminals in the Bush administration. Will you? Now, Kamala Harris is celebrating the endorsement of Slobodan Milosevic. Would she celebrate the endorsement of Bashar al-Assad after gassing his own citizens in Syria? That's what they accused Dick Cheney of. They accused Dick Cheney of being one of the worst war criminals in world history. Now, he's a model Republican. You want to talk about eating dogs? Do you remember they accused Mitt Romney of abusing his dog by putting the dog in a little carrying case on top of the family's station wagon? Has anyone ever owned a dog that did not love sticking his head out the window when riding in a car? They accused him of trying to kill that dog. Now, well, Mitt Romney's great. Mitt Romney has seen the light. Mitt Romney is a Republican that we can all respect. I can't think of a single thing that reveals just how just don't believe anything the left says about Trump now. Let's say Donald Trump, 20 years from now, 100 years old, he endorses Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for president. For whatever reason, Trump endorses AOC. I am going to be waiting. God willing, I'm still on the air. I'm still doing a broadcast of some sort. When Donald Trump becomes the model Republican and Ron DeSantis is running for his second term, and Trump instead endorses the challenger AOC because he still hasn't forgiven DeSantis for his disloyalty way back in 2024. When they start praising Trump, well, at least, and they did. That was the funny thing. That was the funny thing when Ron DeSantis was surging in the polls against Trump in late 2022, early 2023. They were saying even Trump wasn't as bad as Ron DeSantis on the issue of abortion. It's just they don't believe anything they actually tell you. They tell it to you because they are all on the same team, members of the media and the Democratic Party alike, and because they don't want to jeopardize their position on that team, just like that kid in the minor leagues who just got released because he was tipping pitches to the opposing team. We will have that, Shannon Sharp, and much more in How Bizarre, our weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days, coming up next.
Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richlands Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
Well, all right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richlands Tire and Service Centers.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David. I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations: Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-HITS.
Sure, electronic tablets can be handy to keep a preschooler entertained, but are there longer-term negative consequences? On this afternoon's Latest Word on Medicine, Dr. Alyssa Carlson from Children's Wisconsin will talk about a study that shows early childhood tablet use may be linked to a child's outbursts of anger. The Latest Word on Medicine today at 2 on WISN.
Bob Tarantino here for EasyHomeBidder.com. You want every penny possible selling your home? Buying a home you don't want to miss out because you didn't have a chance to increase your bid, right? A Warhol painting sold for $195 million. Not impressed? How about $450.3 million for a Da Vinci? With buyers and sellers elated to set record prices at auction. Don't believe for a minute they'd have offered as much without someone offering one bid increment less. It's exactly the same with real estate. Your home on both MLS and EasyHomeBidder.com reaches every potential buyer. Every EasyHomeBidder.com buyer can counter any offer higher than their bid anytime. No buyer is eliminated until they can't afford to win. EasyHomeBidder.com agents create professional listings on MLS and EasyHomeBidder.com. Buyers enter their pre-qualification, then buyer and seller run hand in hand to the finish line where both are declared winners. That's EasyHomeBidder.com. Real estate for winners. EasyHomeBidder.com. That's EasyHomeBidder.com.
At Cheney Heating and Air Conditioning, we know weather in Wisconsin keeps you guessing.
Dad, let's turn on the heat. It's freezing. Wait, Dad, we need the AC back on. It's so hot in here.
No matter the season or the day, we've got you covered. Stay comfortable year-round with a new air conditioner or furnace from Cheney Heating. We install same day or next day, starting at $39.95 or 0% financing. Keep your family comfortable. Call or visit KenneMarineHeating.com today.
Window, screen, and door repair. Now, some guys out there, all they want to do is sell you a replacement, installation, etc. And truth be told, we want to sell you a replacement window, door, and Craftsman quality installation too, when you're ready. A lot of times customers call or come in with the notion that they have to replace their windows or doors. But in many cases, all they need is a repair or a hard-to-find new part. And that can save the customer a bunch. Now, sometimes a replacement is what you need. Sometimes not. When you come here, you'll be sure to get an honest answer. And it may end up saving you a lot of grief, too. This is David Wilhelm. The reason we've been around and thriving for so long is simple. We take care of our customers. Call us or visit Lisbon Storm Screen and Door on 51st and Lisbon. We'll be able to take care of all of your window and door needs, and we'll try to help you repair before you replace.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find out more at lisbonstorm.com.
Jerry Paget, the second enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan until Jerry was catastrophically injured in an improvised explosive device blast. Now, Jerry received a new smart home thanks to our friends at the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Now, the home is in the foundation's Let Us Do Good Village. It's in Florida, and Jerry now lives more independently thanks to the specially adaptive technologies. Commit to $11 a month, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do about things like retirement planning, selling a business, or building your legacy. So when other advisors present products packed with commissions, you start to wonder, is this advice or a sales pitch? Annex Wealth Management is a fee-only fiduciary. No commission products, just clear thinking when it comes to investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. Head to annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button. It only takes a couple of minutes. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Your home cleaning friend. It's Edelman again. Edelman.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Time now to throw away the cares of a workaday world. The sun is shining. It's a Friday. The weekend is almost here, and it is time for us to take a break from the serious and focus for a few minutes on the silly here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, our weekly segment. We call it
How Bizarre. How Bizarre. How Bizarre.
I'll give you a little warning. If you've got small kids in the car, this might be the story you might want to turn down the radio from. I'm not going to be graphic at all, but it does describe some adult themes. Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Fame tight end, perhaps best known in Wisconsin for being the brother of Packers great wide receiver Sterling Sharpe, very popular broadcaster, ESPN, Fox Sports veteran, and novice user, apparently, of Instagram Live. This week, he inadvertently went on IG Live while otherwise occupied with a young lady who he repeatedly referred to in the video, where you can't see anything but rather hear as Michelle. He said her name rather breathlessly. She was not speaking, but shall we say vocal as well. Am I painting a clear enough picture as to what Shannon and Michelle were doing? After initially saying that he was hacked, he admitted that he inadvertently live streamed audio of him doing what consenting grown-ups do to his roughly 3.2 million followers on Instagram. Oh no. On an emergency episode of the Nightcap podcast he co-hosts with former NFLer and one of the most entertaining players to play in a long time, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, he apologized for his mistake. Obviously, I'm embarrassed, he said. Someone that is extremely, extremely private, and to have one of your most intimate details, the audio heard for the entire world to hear, I'm embarrassed for a number of reasons. There are a lot of people that count on Shannon to be professional at all times, and I always try to be professional at all times, even when I'm behind closed doors. The incident, according to USA Today, went viral after thousands of people began commenting and reposting the link to Sharpe's Instagram account. He later deleted the post, which he blamed on his lack of technical knowledge. He said, I threw my phone on the bed. I feel so bad for this man. I really do. Because I could now, taking a wild guess, that exact same scenario wouldn't happen. But I mean, you imagine you're just walking. I can't tell you how many times my buddy Brandon will attest to how many times I have butt dialed him I've butt dialed producer Dave many times. I could only imagine if I was, I don't know, having a private conversation or something like that. Here's what he said. I threw my phone on the bed, engaged in an activity. I didn't know IG Live. I've never turned IG Live on, so I didn't know how it works. And all of a sudden, my other phone started going off. Oh, that poor guy. You know what he did, though? His management company, initially, they do what every management company or PR company will do. Oh, his phone was hacked. His phone was hacked. It was an innocent mistake. The man did nothing wrong. But I've got to tell you, the audio was the audio sounds exactly what you would think. I don't know if he's married. I don't know who Michelle is. And frankly, I don't know. I don't care. It was a funny story, and you feel bad for the guy because it really was so embarrassing. And but for the grace of God, ladies and gentlemen, and an auto lock on our phones, go any of us.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
The Minnesota Twins have released one of their draft picks, a minor league catcher by the name of Derek Bender, after he supposedly told opposing batters what pitches were coming. During their at-bats, the opposing team was obviously a little rattled by this, and after the game, the manager told the manager of Bender's team that, hey, your catcher was telling our guys exactly what pitches were coming. Bender was playing for the Fort Myers Mighty Mussels, the Minnesota Twins single-A affiliate. In the second game of a September 6th doubleheader, he told multiple hitters for the Lakeland Flying Tigers, a Detroit farm team, the specific pitches being thrown by starter Ross Dunn. The other team, Lakeland, scored 4 runs in an inning en route to a 6-0 win. Why do you think Bender wanted his team to lose? He declined to comment. The Twins declined to comment. Sources tell ESPN that Bender had been telling his teammates he wanted the season to be over. You see, Fort Myers was in contention for the playoffs, and Bender had just had enough baseball and wanted them to lose so they wouldn't make the playoffs. That's a level of laziness I cannot possibly comprehend, and it probably will result in the end of his baseball career, because what team would ever take a chance on a guy who will literally throw games in order to not have to play again? It was like, what did Ernie Banks famously say? Let's play 2. Bender says, let's play none. I'm done. I'm out. Kudos to the Lakeland Ball Club, by the way, for doing the right thing and saying after the game, hey, your catcher was telling us the pitches that were coming for some reason. You might want to investigate this. Neither the Twins nor the player, through his representatives, have made any comment, but kudos to ESPN for using some good sourced reporting to, I think, get to the bottom of a truly, truly bizarre story. I'm looking at the clock, realizing we've got to cut How Bizarre a little bit short this week. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days, a sports-themed edition, apparently this week, of
How Bizarre! How Bizarre! How Bizarre!
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
If you could spend 1 month anywhere, where would you go?
Easy. I'd go to bed.
I mean, anywhere in the world.
Precisely.
You'd spend the entire month in bed?
Specifically, a new Tempur-Pedic from Hasselus Mattress.
Why?
Because I can take 60 months to pay for it. Through Monday, get 60 months interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic mattresses, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card.
60 months. That means...
You can buy a Queen Tempur-Pedic ProAdapt Hybrid with ease adjustable base for just $74 a month.
And I get a $300 MasterCard gift card.
Free next day delivery and employee-free showrooms too.
So I can try and buy...
With no pushy sales guy.
Hang on.
What are you doing?
Searching for a travel travel agent to book a month-long vacation at Hassellus Mattress.
Enjoy 60 months interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedics through Monday at Hassellus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Procrastination Officer Brian Wickert. Most homeowners and home shoppers have heard the Federal Reserve will cut rates by 0.25% in mid-September. Well, I have great news. When it comes to mortgage rates, it's like the cut has already happened. That's how markets work, and it means there's no reason to wait to either start or resume your home search because most 30-year fixed-rate loan scenarios will now have a rate and APR that starts with the number 6 instead of 7 point something. The already lower mortgage rates also mean the refi window of opportunity is open for folks who bought their homes earlier this year or late last year with a rate in the mid to high 7s. If you can save $1,000 a year in payments and spend less than that in refi loan cost, do it. Accunet can also typically offer a genuine no loan cost refi, which makes lowering your payment a genuine no-brainer. Don't wait. Click on the blue button today for a no-pressure refi checkup or to get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. From fighting wildfires with air support, helping civilians in flooded neighborhoods, to delivering food and supplies to those who have lost everything, the Army National Guard always responds when disaster strikes. The Army National Guard also trains to be ever vigilant against threats, foreign and domestic. They protect our skies with missile defense weaponry. They secure our information,